So the first slide in the lecture on motivation is just an overview. It is the biological, emotional, cognitive, and social forces that activate, direct, and maintain behavior. That's a good definition, and I think it's on the test. Some terms that are used include drive, which is a state of unrest or irritation that energizes one's behavior after another until one of them removes the irritation. So you may have a drive to remove a stone from your shoe, and you won't stop until it's accomplished. It's an example. Homeostasis is a term um, where you maintain an optimal level of biological conditions within an organism. So maintaining body temperature, for example. Incentives include our external stimuli that pull us towards certain actions, like going to work for a paycheck. Intrinsic motivation refers to a motivation to engage in an act just for itself. So you may not be a good singer, but you sing because you enjoy doing that. And extrinsic motivation is based on the reinforcements and punishments that the act may bring. So because you may not like singing, but you do it because you make money at it, as an example. Primary motivation include such things that are biological, automatic, built-in, and secondary motivations include such things that develop as a result of specific learning. So you do things because of the consequences that come from them. Hunger is a good example of a motivated behavior. It's primarily learned. It's important to recognize some important eating disorders, including obesity, which actually is the largest, even though it's not in the DSM-5, the diagnostic manual. It's the accumulation of fat and about 20 to 40% overweight, depending on your BMI. Anorexia, of course, is a condition in which the person refuses to eat adequate food and steadily loses weight as a result of a fear of being fat. Bulimia nervosa is alteration between self-starvation and excessive eating or binging. And pica, which technically isn't an eating disorder, but it's eating non-nutritive substances like paint chips or dirt or things of that nature. There's several theories that explain motivation. One of them is called instinct theory. Just as animals display instinctive behavioral patterns such as migration or mating behaviors, human behavior is thought to be motivated by innate instincts or genetic programming. Instinct theory says that people are motivated to engage in behaviors because of evolutionary programming. William James identified different instincts, including attachment, resentment, fear, curiosity, disgust, shyness, rivalry, sociability, love, greediness, bashfulness, suspiciousness, secretiveness, hunting, cleanliness, play, modesty, shame, anger, and parental love. There are some psychological motivations that are important to mention. One of them is achievement, which is striving for the accomplishment and excellence, balanced out by a fear of failure. Often people who have achievement motivation either are successful or they're unsuccessful, and often it depends on the type of goals that they set. Another psychological motive is power, to gain power in a situation. And the third one is called affiliation motivation, to be around people because you like the idea of being around others. Another theory is called drive theory. Behavior is motivated by the desire to reduce internal tensions caused by unmet biological needs such as hunger or thirst, we just mentioned. These unmet biological needs drive us to behave in certain ways to ensure survival. So drives such as hunger and thirst arise from tissue deficits when we're hungry, when we are driven to eat. When we are thirsty, we are driven to drink. When a particular behavior reduces a drive, the behavior becomes reinforced when the same need state arises again. Our body's biological systems are delicately balanced to ensure survival. Homeostasis, which we just mentioned, is a state of internal physiological equilibrium that the body strives to maintain. Physiological disruptions in homeostasis produce drives, states of internal tension that motivate an organism to reduce the tension. Incentive theories, basically behaviors motivated by the pull of external goals and rewards such as rewards, money, and recognition. This approach is based heavily on operant learning, a la B.F. Skinner. If we think we will be reinforced for behavior, we are more motivated to engage in the behavior. If we think we're going to be punished for the behavior, we're motivated to avoid the behavior. Arousal theories basically look at the state of arousal in an organism. They're based on the observation that people find both very high levels of arousal and very low levels of arousal quite unpleasant. So when the arousal is too low, we become motivated to increase arousal by seeking stimulating experiences. When arousal is too high, we become motivated to reduce arousal by seeking less stimulating environments. People are motivated to maintain an optimal level of arousal, which is neither too high nor too low, and it's the top of the curve. Yerkes and Dotson were able to show that arousal can have different phases. If the task is very difficult, we maintain a lower level of arousal than if it's too easy, where we maintain a higher level of arousal. So the goal is to maintain an optimal level. Maslow described theories of motivation and proposed that a very broad motivational model. It's not empirical, but it makes common sense. He proposed that psychology's other perspectives ignore key human motive, the desire to strive for personal growth. So on the pyramid, we start out at the bottom with physiological needs, just meeting our basic needs, and safety is the second level. Belongingness and love is the third level. Those are psychological needs, and esteem, of course, being held in esteem by ourselves and other people. And then, of course, self-actualization is at the top of the pyramid, achieving one's full potential. Incidentally, many people never get quite to the top of the pyramid. You have to be psychologically healthy to do that. Some of the characteristics of self-actualized people include realism and acceptance, spontaneity. They're very problem-centered, autonomous, working independently. They continued a freshness of appreciation for life, and many of them experience a peak experience.